How much should you charge for your marketing services? How do you know what you should charge customers as well as know how to be profitable? How can you be positive that you're charging the right amount for your marketing services? In this video, I want to talk to you about how much you should charge for your marketing services, how to work out the price for your marketing services, and how to be confident that you're charging the right amount for your marketing services. Hey guys, Mike here from Sell Your Service. Welcome to my channel. If you are a funnel builder, consider subscribing. I produce new video content every single week, helping funnel builders like you attract and close 5-figure funnel deals. I've actually got a blog post below. No opt-ins, no lead capture or anything on the 100% absolute formula for pricing your marketing funnel services. But in the meantime, let's talk on this video about how much you should charge for your marketing services and how much your customers should be willing to pay. Have you ever got the feeling that if you were to charge too much for a marketing service and maybe if you put the wrong price on it, you'll be laughed out of the meeting? I've always kind of had this fear that if I'm sat down with a customer and they talk to me and they tell me what it is they want and they tell me what they need and I work it out in my head and I say, oh, it's going to be, X amount, and they'll just burst into laughter as if to say, that's way too expensive. Your competition are charging way less than that. There's no way that we can afford that. And you kind of think, you feel like shame, or even worse than that, you'd have someone get angry at you and say, this is absolutely disgusting, you're ripping people off, there's no way that people should want to pay this is absolutely disgraceful. I remember actually being told that. I had a guy who ran a logistics company down here in Devon, really grotesquely overweight guy. And he would sit in his office smoking cigarettes all day. This was long after the cigarette ban as well. This was really early on in my business, and I talked to him about creating some social media presence. I can't even remember, to be honest. And I said, yeah, it'll probably be around like $1,000 or something. And I worked it out and I said, actually, it's probably going to be closer to 1,200. And I wrote 1,200 quid down. £1,200. Can you imagine how cheap that is? And after I sent that proposal to him, he wrote back to me and he was furious. He was fucking livid with how expensive it was, and he went absolutely nuts. And I was like, oh my God, I could never charge that much again. And that set me back probably about 6 months to a year in terms of my pricing. And I had a real epiphany moment years later, not even years later, months later, about what I should be charging. It's not my fault that he was angry, it's his fault. We need it to be cheap enough so that people think they're going to get value out of it, but it also needs to be expensive enough for us to make money from it. It has to be profitable for our business, and knowing where to straddle that line can be very difficult. I've talked before in other videos about how your price is your price, and if customers can't afford it, one, that's not an objection, so I'll put that video, I'll probably link it up here. It's not an objection if someone says it's too expensive, and I'll also link to another video later. The big misconception is that people think they're not going to buy because it's too expensive. When was the last time you think that someone bought a Lamborghini and thought, yeah, I'm getting a really good deal on this, this is really cheap? Or have you ever paid your rent or paid your mortgage or bought a house and thought, yeah, I'm getting a really good deal on this, I don't really need this money, this is way less than I was expecting. If anything, I'm glad it cost this much. I could probably give some more away. No one ever thinks that what they're buying is cheap. What people tend to think is that, yeah, they know it's expensive, but they have to buy it. The difference is that their desire for it is more than the cost that it is. One of the biggest mistakes people make when pricing their marketing services, particularly if you're new to the market, but I still see people who've been doing this a long time make the same mistake, which is where they'll look at who's expensive and they'll say, oh, well, $50,000 for a social media campaign is very expensive. I can't do that much because I can't, justify it. I'm not experienced enough, blah, 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 whatever. And on the other side, they'll say, yeah, but I also don't want to charge just $500 for it because then I won't make any money. And they try to go somewhere in the middle. And the middle of the market doesn't exist. It's a complete fallacy and it will kill your business. First of all, you've got no idea what their costs are if they're charging $50,000. You don't know other things that they're having to pay for. And also, something I think people forget is that if a business is charging $50,000, $100,000, $25,000 a month, whatever, chances are they've got people who aren't that experienced delivering it. I want you to think about this. It's not the most experienced people building it. You will have interns and new marketing execs and junior level marketing associates building out a lot of the stuff that the expensive companies are selling. Always remember that it's got nothing to do with your level of experience. Otherwise, you'd only have the CEOs and the directors doing the work, and we know that that doesn't work for a business model. So the first thing you need to understand is the number one rule is it has to be profitable for you. Your price has to be profitable for you. If it isn't profitable for you, you shouldn't be doing it. If it's not profitable for your business, that will kill your business. So I want to talk about the formula for how you actually should be pricing your marketing services. And it's got nothing to do with what you deliver. It's got absolutely nothing to do with saying, well, I know that Facebook marketing makes more money than landing page design, or email marketing makes more money than SEO. Nothing makes more or less money than anything else. It's purely down to your pricing strategy. So the first thing you need to do is understand that it has to be profitable. The second thing you need to do is understand how much you need to make per year. Have a really clear idea of your financial plan. What does your business need to make per year, and what do you individually need to make per year? We're going to talk about the difference between those two in a bit. But if you know that you want your business to make $120,000 a year, then you know that's roughly $10,000 a month. You have to have an extremely clear idea of what it is that you want your business to make per year. If you're stuck thinking, well, I don't know what to charge, but I also don't know how much I need to make per year, you'll never be able to increase your prices. You'll never be able to get the right price. As soon as you start thinking in plain dollars and cents terms, how much do you need to make per year? Everything else will become much easier. The third thing you need to then do is think, well, how many projects do you genuinely want to work on? I found as one person working with 3 customers roughly every 3 to 6 months, so that's 1 every 2 months, is about all I could handle as when I was a consultant. As a kind of scalable business, we're able to deal with kind of hundreds of customers every single week, but even then there is a limit to the amount of support that we can provide. If you know that you have a scalable product in place and you know that every single one that you sell, you don't have to deliver, it's a scalable, repeatable process that someone else is going to be delivering, great, sell as many as you can. But if you're starting out and it's just you, or maybe a super small team of 2 or 3 people, you are literally going to have a bandwidth to the amount of customers that you work with. Bearing in mind, you still have to work on your business, you have to build your brand, you have to build your competencies, you have to work on promoting your business and your sales and your strategies and your marketing, rather than just working on customer work. So even then, whatever you're thinking right now, I want you to halve it. So think how many customers could you deal with per year, per month, whatever it is, and halve that number. So if you think, I could probably do 1 a month, I want you to halve that to 1 every 2 months. And you now know that it's about 6 a year. So $120,000 divided by 6, you've got roughly $20,000 per project. So now we have an idea, that's what you should be charging. The job is not to work out what are the things you want to deliver and how much can you charge for that. The goal is to think, what do you need to make, and then what are you going to deliver to justify that price? So that's your project price there, okay? So your project price is now $20,000. So take whatever you need to earn per year. How many customers do you think you could work with per year? Halve that. That's probably a closer number to how many you could work with per year. That will give you your project price. Now take that project price and divide that by 3. What that's going to give you is a rough estimate of how much you should be spending on outsourcing and staffs and delivering the work to the customer. Your goal, and let's say it's 21,000 just to make it easy on me for the maths, that means you have roughly $7,000 to spend on someone else to build that for the customer. One of the big mistakes we make is we think, well, I'll charge $20,000 and great, that's $20,000 to me because I can do the work. And instead, what I want you to think is, you're going to take that $7,000 and you're going to use it on somebody else to build the project for you. Here's where things get interesting. When you begin to realize that you've actually got 6 customers giving you basically 21,000 minus the 7,000, that leaves you with 14,000 per customer. And then another third of that is going to go on your overhead, your costs, your tax. You're going to take a certain percentage for profit. That leaves you with just 1/3. That leaves you with roughly $7,000 per customer. Is that enough for you and your business to survive on? Now that's just a rough estimation. I highly recommend checking out Mike Michalowicz's book, Profit First, if you want a better insight into how to structure your pricing. But that gives you a really good idea as to how much money you're really gonna make per sale. It also maybe makes you think, actually, I need to make more than that per year. I don't have to cut my living expenses. I need to make $220,000 per year because I need to have $14,000 coming into the business. So if I have $220,000 and I know I'm only gonna work with 6 customers, that's roughly $40,000 per customer. And that means that I need to then roughly equate 1/3 to somebody else delivering it, 1/3 to overheads and expenses and costs, and 1/3 back to myself. That changes your perception. So that's the formula that I want you to use. How much do you need to make per year? How many customers do you want to work with? Divide that by 2, that's your project price. Take your project price, divide that by 3, that's roughly how much you're going to be spending on your costs and getting it delivered and having someone else deliver it through outsourcing and staff. Roughly 1/3 of that is going to go to profit, overheads, things like this, tax as well, and roughly 1/3 is going to come back to you as the business owner or to your salary. So that's how I want you to think about your pricing. How much do you charge for your marketing services? Whether you're SEO, email marketing, I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you are a funnel builder, go ahead and subscribe. I produce new video content every single week, helping funnel builders like you attract and close 5-figure deals. Give me a share as well. That's super useful. If you share this on your social media channels and if you think this is useful, maybe share it with someone else in your network. I'd really appreciate that. Hit that like button as well. In the meantime, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. I've probably got a couple of videos either side here talking about how much you should charge for your marketing funnel services, as well as how to charge for your marketing funnels. I actually got some free training down below on the absolute 100% formula on pricing your marketing funnels. It's opt-in free. It's just a blog post. You can go ahead and check that out. I've got that in the link below. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching. Keep building those funnels.